First question for you. I think it's 2.25 trillion on the infrastructure plan. My first question is, a lot of Republicans obviously have a problem with the price tag on this. And the president is being criticized as campaigning on bipartisanship, but after the American Recovery Act, which was a party line vote, we might be looking at another party line vote with this. Question is, where's the bipartisanship that he talked about so much on the campaign trail?
Well, I think when you talk about bipartisanship, you need two sides to have a conversation, and certainly lots of people, lots of Republicans are having good conversations. I've had some great conversations with people and other secretaries that had good conversations with Republicans, and you know, there's a lot in the American Jobs Plan that people like, that Republicans like, that Democrats like, that the American people like. And I think that, you know, the president is going to continue to push forward. I think we need to put the parties aside. The president has done that. He talks about being president for all people, not just Democrats. He talks about being the president for all people, Democrats, Republicans, independents, progressives, conservatives. It's really important that we have these conversations. I think the American people expect more out of the two political parties, and want us to get together and move forward and start working on some issues and put the American people first. That's something that the president's been saying. I support him in that, and I think that, you know, he had a conversation at the White House 2 days ago with some leaders in the Republican and Democratic side, and you know, we're just going to continue to have these dialogues.
Okay, I started off with a political question. My second one, I'll just ask you straight. Do you think this is a broad plan, obviously? If you had to pick the one part of it that you think is the most important, that our Americans will see the most benefit of, what would that be?
You can't do that. The plan, every part of this is important for all Americans. This is a complete infrastructure bill around for the American people, for the American worker, getting people back into the middle class, allowing an opportunity to build back better and be stronger. So, you know, it's not something I wouldn't, and I wouldn't recommend the president do it either. Stop picking the bill apart. I think that we think that the whole plan is a comprehensive plan, and it all works closely together.
Okay, you sort of led into my next question a little bit. Senator Joe Manchin has said that he'd like to see some parts of this plan split off, child care, elder care, so that the overall bill isn't quite so big. He's obviously important for obvious reasons. If you don't have him, you don't have a bill. Is there any discussion still ongoing about splitting the bill up?
I think everything is on the table. There's conversations about what the bill looks like in its final version. There's conversations about paying for the bill. The president put together the plan. Basically, it's the blueprint of what he'd like to see moving forward here. And I think that there's obviously, to your first question about bipartisan support, there has to be negotiation. I don't think that this is not something that the president is just going to say, this is exactly how I want it, 100%. I mean, I think he'd love to see it passed as is, but certainly I know that there's opportunities for us to have conversations in some areas. The Republicans did put up a plan, an construction infrastructure plan that was lower than what the President Biden has in this plan. And I know that here in Washington 2 years ago, I was down here advocating on behalf of an infrastructure plan for roads and bridges that was heading towards $2 trillion, and everyone seemed to be excited about that plan. So I definitely think there's always room for conversation. We should never shut the door on any type of conversation.
Okay, the American Rescue Plan was deficit spending. This has a lot of tax hikes on corporations. If I remember correctly, there's no language about raising taxes on individuals, even wealthy Americans. This is corporate tax hikes. The question is, with so many people we want to get back to work, and we'd all like to see those jobs paying more as well, is this a good time to be raising taxes on companies that do the hiring?
It's not, you know, listen, the 55 of our largest corporations in this country don't pay any corporate tax at all. There's an opportunity right there. The president has been very clear. Any American who makes $400,000 or less will not be taxed, and that's his commitment. Again, you know, these investments in the American Jobs Plan and the American Families Plan benefits corporations long term. It creates opportunities for better infrastructure, better broadband connectivity, clean drinking water, electric grids, job training, workforce development, cares economy. All these things benefit large corporations as well by having their workers having better connectivity. However you want to think about that, you know, in the corporate tax rate that's being proposed right now, 28%, it still would be the second lowest tax rate in the last several decades here, other than what it is currently today. And I think that that's something that we're asking companies to pay what we feel is their fair share here. We're not looking to put, I know the president's not looking to put people out of companies out of business. I'm not, certainly not, don't want to do that. Secretary Raimondo, Secretary of Commerce, doesn't want to do that. We want to see businesses doing well, and business doing well. That means they can pay their employees more money and they can hire more people, and that's a good thing.
Okay, Mr. Secretary, that's all I had on that. You were about to say, Seth?
I was just going to say we're going to have to wrap pretty soon.
Okay, can I ask one question on the recent labor numbers? It's a different topic. You don't have to take it if you don't want, but I did have one question on that if you're willing to take it.
Please, yeah.
In Michigan right now, between federal and state unemployment, a person can make $2,600 a month. I know a lot of people are afraid of COVID. They have childcare problems, and that's two of the big things that are driving people to not go seek jobs right now. And we saw that reflected in the latest jobs numbers. But with that amount of unemployment, do you think that is all the contributor to people not applying for jobs right now, the amount of money that they can make on unemployment?
I wouldn't necessarily. I don't think the greater number of people that are on unemployment looking at it this way. I can't say to you with a straight face that there's not some people obviously that are probably doing a little better off now, but at some point they need to get back to work because their unemployment benefits are going to run out in September. I believe the $300 will no longer be around in the plan. So I think if people were offered a job, a good suitable job to what they previously were making, they would take it. People want to go to work. People want to get back to their life, and all the factors you mentioned obviously are key. Childcare, schools. Worry about their personal health, things like that. They're also worried about their industry. I mean, many restaurants, a lot of this is in restaurant industry, and I know certain parts of the country, restaurants are open, but they're not open to 100% capacity. They have limitations that people can go in there. So a lot of people are also concerned about, is there going to be another rise in the coronavirus, and what are the variants going to do? So I think there's still a lot of uncertainty, but two positives that came out of the job number on last Friday. One was more people were looking for work in the month of April than March, and I think we'll see better numbers hopefully next month. And the second one is in the hospitality industry, which includes restaurants. We saw the largest gains of jobs, and I think that that's something that many states and many cities were hit really hard with their tourism industry, their hospitality, their restaurants, the conventions. So we're starting to see some of that come back, which is a good thing.